Alright, here we go. Gonna close chat because it lags stream. Fair enough, Cat. And Jack, holy shit, Jack. Welcome back, man. Alright. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I'll switch the screen and we can begin. So, everyone in the stream at the moment tuning in just as we start and just as we become live, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be doing our first podcast, which we have deemed the name The State of Everything. Everyone's speaking, you can see clearly on the screen. If you have any questions or comments directed at anyone, you got the names now, and you can see exactly who's speaking. And the topics on the table are what we're going to start with in order, and just go from top to bottom. And we don't know how long this is going to last, but we're going to try to keep this to like an hour to maybe like 2.
Like that.
Yeah.
Hour and a half, hour 45 is pretty standard.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to start on stuff?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the first rendition of the Midday Mana State of Everything podcast. My name is Matt, or Good Guy Naruto, as you can see. I am not the main host, but the guy who'll be mediating stuff. Along with my other co-host, we have Lord Shank, a.k.a. Big Boy.
How you doing?
All right, and then next we have Mr. Needly Dix, a.k.a. Gutter, a.k.a. Big Man on Campus.
Good afternoon.
All right, next we have Shogun, a.k.a. Aaron, a.k.a. Lady Boy.
What?
And then next we have Tenadisic, a.k.a. Tetanus, a.k.a. Sam, the Big Man himself.
I've got an erection.
All right, why my pee hard is the real question.
Yes.
All right, so wait, we'll swing into the first topic, which is future games. Let's talk about first the whole Apex Legends and how, like, this whole battle royale genre. My first question is for everyone: do you think this whole hype around Apex is gonna like stay for a bit, or do you think it's gonna fade away?
It's gonna die. People are burning out of battle royale, I think. At least I hope.
It's been a genre that's been recycled a lot recently.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies are just trying to get onto the bandwagon and just create their own rendition of a battle royale. But the thing with the battle royale is that they're all kind of mimicking each other with like original elements and assets and game design and map design or whatever it is. It's all just kind of like a copy and paste of the previous one.
Yeah, they're all pretty much you drop in from a flying object with a closing border, and you pick up random loot on the ground.
Yeah,
and
it's literally just it gets repetitive after a while.
It does.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Ish. So.
Honestly, I think the whole thing kind of started dying out when GTA 5 had their own version of it.
Oh dear God!
At that
GTA
point,
5 had a version.
They had
what? GTA 5 had a BR mode, and it was, I mean, they were just jumping on the PUBG hype.
Ugh, that's gross.
I think that even predates Fortnite. I'm not really sure, but
oh my God,
it was around the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
So then the question is, what other like gaming genre would you like to see, or what other genre would you like to see come back? Because I know we talked about before the whole zombie survival game.
Which is exactly what I was about to say. If I could have a genre kind of resurface and get repopular, I would say like an actual zombie survival or like a post-apocalyptic survival horror game.
Yeah.
I'd like one that's good though.
Yeah, there's a lot of renditions like that game.
Was good, except for it was just so buggy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
what if you had a lot more like it's like Daisy but way better? So I know there was like that Walking Dead game that came out. So take like those graphics, right? And then take Daisy. So it's like an open world. You play with your friends, and it's. Would you rather do PvE or PvP?
Both.
Both?
I like both, honestly.
I think you should have to deal with other players as well as zombies. Or whatever.
Yeah, because that made it dangerous when you if you're fighting zombies, it's like if you get them in a doorway or you run away and hide. But then if you were to actually encounter a player, then like everything that you've been doing, regardless of how you've acted against zombies, is like put on hold until you deal with that player.
I really just want to get an open world, very good looking Walking Dead game, basically.
Yeah,
From what I've heard, they've done a lot with DayZ.
Really?
And it's coming back.
Really?
Coming back, lol.
Are you talking about DayZ standalone?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, see, the thing about DayZ standalone is after all this time, they finally finished the game, and they're starting to make it more of what the old player base wanted. Yeah. But the thing is, it's been so long that the player base died like 5 years ago.
Yeah, the original player base that was hyped up about this actual, like, the actual genre and the actual game getting released, those were the people that played Arma 2, the, like, experimental mod that they had active. And now that that's obsolete, and they were waiting for DayZ standalone, and it's been so long. It's been, like, what, like 4 years now that they've been in development, and they're not even, like... They're not even finished with, like, version... Well, I think they recently came out with version 1.0, which is obnoxious.
Just released,
yeah.
How long has it been, though? How long has the...
It was 2014, wasn't it?
Let me take a look for you right now. DayZ...
Yeah, it was something like that.
But the Battle Royale in GTA 5 was, like, May 2018.
DayZ standalone, the very first version of the game was released in 2012. It's been 7 years. 7 years since the game was even announced and put in development. And they're just now getting to version 1.0. That is why the player base is dead.
Yeah, that's way too long to finish a game.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. And, I mean, they made Arma 3, and then someone made the Arma 3 mod, and you see, even then, the player base is still half, if not even less than what it was before.
Exactly.
Speaking of new games that are coming out that have been long awaited for a very long time, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be coming out in the summer.
In the summer?
Yeah.
Is there, like, a video, like a...
there's like a short release trailer that they showed at E3 this year.
Is it good, or is it just like spanning over a map and then?
It's basically just spanning over a map.
Okay, so there's not actually like. When do you think they would come out with like a official trailer showing a little bit of the?
Dude, it's Bethesda. Nobody knows.
That's true. Well, what other like games are we looking forward to here? Because right now there's a lot of games because we're stuck in this dumb battle royale kind of genre.
There's a game
I'm really
coming
forward
out.
To Metro Exodus is what I'm waiting for right now.
Metro Exodus is out, man.
It's out. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I thought it released in March. What?
Zebra's Zebra's playing it right now.
What? I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Metro Exodus is
I have
excellent.
to download the Epic Games Store, don't I?
Also, oh hey Wolfstorm, holy shit. Welcome to the stream, homie. And Jack says for future games, how about Metro Exodus? So perfect, we kind of segued right into that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've actually never played any of the Metro games, but they're fantastic.
What I wanted to say before was there's a game coming out, I believe this May, and it's called GTFO. And I know the name is memey or whatever, but essentially it's like a combination of Killing Floor and Left 4 Dead. And it looks awesome because it's actually a survival horror game. And it looks really, really cool. Essentially, you go in with 4 people into like a mining system, clear out infected, complete certain objectives to escape or do something for some other reason. I don't know. The trailer didn't reveal too much. But the art style, the ability to play with 4 people on a team, zombies, infected, as well as mutated creatures and horror all combined into a first-person shooter looks awesome. Because what Valve made the mistake of doing is saying that they, are not going to work on a Left 4 Dead 3. So I think
Valve is... Here we talked about this a while back of how Valve is not making any like newer games or updating any other games, but now we have Epic Games, which they are starting to give out free games every 2 weeks. And Sam, you know a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so basically it's really interesting because Epic Games obviously has a lot of money because of Fortnite. They made loads of money on that, and instead of just being super greedy like they usually are, and by they I mean game companies in general, it decided to make its own store, and it's been doing a pretty good job of taking a big chunk out of Steam's revenue. The biggest thing that they've done is, so when you put a game on Steam, the split is 70-30, so 70% of the money goes to you from the game, and 30% goes to Steam.
Which is a huge chunk. That's a 30% tax.
Big chunk of change.
Yeah.
Epic Games, on the other hand, only has 88-12. So 88% of the profit goes back to the developer, and 12% goes to Epic Games. Which, when you're talking about millions of sales of $60 games, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
And they also have been obviously giving away games, which has caused Steam to have to give away a lot more games as well in order to try and win their platform back over.
Well, yeah, like CS:GO is now free, but that's really late to put it out as free. I remember when it was $20, and
yeah,
that was just.
Well,
this is the first sale, like the Steam Lunar New Year sale, is the first Steam sale ever in which, if you spend a certain amount of money, you just get $5 off your entire bill. Like if you spent more than $30 at the Steam sale for the Lunar New Year sale, it just gave you $5 off, and that's all coming out of Steam's pocket.
Fair enough.
Is they just gave you $5 off of your entire price.
And
that's all because Epic Games has come in and brought competition to the table.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we needed though, because if Valve was just a monopoly,
for sure, it's definitely a good thing. I'm gonna be honest.
So, what do you think the next big multiplayer game that's going to come out? Because we've had like Overwatch, we've had CS:GO, we've had Rainbow Six, like those type of multiplayer games. What do you think is going to be like the next big one?
Are you talking about genre or
just multiplayer genre? Because there's League, there's like all these heavy multiplayer games that people still play, and like CS:GO has been around for a hell of a long time. What do you think is going to be the next game, or do we have an idea of what that could be?
I'm kind of hyped for Division 2.
Hmm.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
It's not going to be.
My whole thing with the Division 2 is basically with the original the Division, a bunch of these normie casual players were like, hey, we want this, this, and this, and then they're like, basically Ubisoft was like, all right, let's fix this, and then we'll put that into Division 2. And so I don't like when basically companies appeal to the casual players.
1 sec, I gotta go. Be right back.
All right, like Summit has talked about this a lot, how a lot of games are appealing too much to, or like a lot of developers are appealing too much to the casual players. Like in Sea of Thieves, they made it so basically you can't use, it was like you could choose it so you can't use cross-platform. So if you're on Xbox and you don't want to play with someone on PC, you can turn it off, because a lot of people are complaining about, oh, because they have a keyboard, they're much better, they can move around better. And I just think that's kind of dumb when you're listening to a bunch of people that complain about stuff that makes the game fun or good.
I agree.
But from a business standpoint, I mean, if you're going to cater to a market, be the normie casual players. I mean, you have a lot more just casual gamers that are like, hey, I just got home from work, I'm just trying to kill some time.
Yeah, but a lot of times the way that a lot of these companies get their money or get marketing for it is by these streamers. So if Summit, like let's say with the whole Sea of Thieves thing, he kind of stopped playing it after some of these new patches and everything like that, appealing to the casual players. So when you eliminate some of these high value streamers that are streaming your content,
your game goes down in popularity.
Yeah, it goes down. And I'm gonna compare it to, let's say your kid's complaining about how he wants a cookie, and then you finally give into it, but now he keeps asking for more cookies more often and stuff like that. Like, that's just bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to appeal to a small percentage of the player base at a sacrifice of the people who want to play your game a lot, no longer being interested because the game has no purpose, goal, or difficulty to it.
And I mean, Tarkov's a good example of what Matt was saying. When they came out with the patch 2 or 3 wipes ago, when the scavs were OP and they would just headshot you through bushes and stuff like that across the map, and you saw the streamers stopped playing, the Tarkov player base dropped drastically during that time.
Yep.
So then, they hurried up and they've finished up labs. They decreased the scav difficulty like tenfold, so they were basically useless then.
I don't
just to
think that
try
was
and
so much
reinvigorate.
related to the streamers stopping, though. I think that was just, I mean, the scavs were too much, and they realized it because their player base just went, hey, this game sucks now.
Well, I mean,
Maybe, but
Regardless
I
of
think,
who was streaming it, I think the majority of their player base was like, yeah, I'll come back in a couple wipes when it's not so horrible.
well, the problem is Battlestate has a tendency to listen to bullshit on Twitch and Reddit, which are two really... Well, Twitch is not a bad platform to get live, immediate feedback about your game. Reddit is absolutely terrible, though, because the people who have no life and don't even want to make viable criticism against the game, just shitpost and don't give any good criticism about the game. They just like make up like huge insults for the game company, and they don't do anything to help the game. So when you go on Reddit, like all you'll see is why Tarkov sucks right now. Why Tarkov sucks right now. But the thing is, those posts and those like articles have been there since alpha, because the people who play the game and they died with scav in a certain way, or the game kicks them out because the servers weren't as dedicated around then. They get angry, and then the only thing that shows up about Tarkov are all these bad things. So in that sense, yeah, Battlestate was like, okay, there's a lot of shit posts and a lot of harsh criticism and insults about our game. Maybe we should do something about it. But the Twitch streamers who actually popularized the game were the ones that I think had the biggest impact, because they're the ones that play the game the most. They're the ones that know the game. They're the ones that love the game, and they're the ones that support and advocate for the game.
Yeah, and market the game.
Exactly.
I guess this whole talk brings us into our next topic of like what we really want from Tarkov. So any new updates or new weapon/gear, any hot fixes, or actually like more lore. Because I remember when Shank, you first told me about Escape from Tarkov, and we watched the trailer. We rewatched the trailer like 12 times because it's just cool. Where at the end. There's the scavs coming, and the USEC and the bear both pick up weapons, and then they go fight them. I think that was really cool, and I feel like if we did more lore, it would just, a lot of these players that have been around a lot would be satisfied. You know what I mean?
Yeah, lore is a good way to keep dedicated players to a game around even more, or even like...
Oh yeah, like World of Warcraft, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because then the people who want to play the game and want to learn the game more find out that there's like hidden messages or stuff like that underneath all this gameplay and all this content. That just makes them even more interested, and that makes them want to dig deeper.
Yeah.
They do have a little bit of lore right now where they try to set the stage for like what's going on in Tarkov, scav factions, Untar, and all this stuff, like all mixed in with traders and scavs.
Wouldn't it be cool? Like, you have quests right now, but what if there was like a sort of like a storyline you could follow?
Dude, what if like every time you leveled up in the game, it just like it gave you like a 2 or 3 minute video that explains more of the story, and you like learn more about it as you play the game.
That's not a bad idea.
That would actually be really cool, yeah.
But in the early levels, when it's really easy to level up, like from level 1 to level 5.
No, it wouldn't be every level. It'd be like every 10 levels. And then when you hit level 40, which is like the highest level required to get anything done with traders, it'd give you like a final video of the storyline at the moment.
Well, if it's like 10 levels, then those videos got to be a little bit longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah. It could be like every 3 levels, get you like a 2-minute video. With just like, and then like the beginning, as you're because when it's really easy to level up, you get like very little information through each video, just like little snippets of stuff.
Right.
But then as you get higher and higher, the information gets more.
That would encourage more of the players to actually level up and do more questing and play with friends, right? Because you're gonna get more gear, you're gonna get you're gonna get more rubles, you're gonna get more XP for killing scavs, and then
get 2 levels, get to the videos.
Yeah, and you find more of the lore. Yeah. I like that.
That's a really cool idea.
Any other like new gear you want, or, like weapons?
Sam was right for the price.
something that I want to see in Tarkov is, besides, you know, like a basic stability patch or whatever for the servers, because every game can always be improved with that, I want to see a slight rebalance to either armor strength or bullet damage. Because at the moment, I feel like face shields don't matter. If you get hit in the face with most calibers...
I don't know, 'cause we were playing, what, yesterday, where you gave me that helmet? And I took a shot straight to the face, and it protected me.
Fair enough. At the same time...
But it's inconsistent is what he's trying to
yes,
go for.
I want something that's a little bit more consistent. Like, if you're wearing this, it takes this many shots. If you're doing this, it takes this many shots. It shouldn't be... Nothing involving this much time spent in a game should be left to chance. Very few things, you know what I mean? Like RNG for loot spawns, ricochet chance, I'm cool with that. But fragmentation chance, and then penetration chance, and then like armor damage percentage, and all this stuff, like, and like shotgun inconsistency with like damage, like you could shoot someone point blank in the legs and it doesn't even black it, but then other times a scav across the map will like black both of your legs behind cover and cause severe bleeding to your stomach or something like that. I want there to be a little bit more consistency when it comes to protecting your character. Because if I'm spending, let's say, like a half an hour of my time, which is a hell of a lot more valuable than like 10 million rubles in Tarkov, but like if I'm spending my time trying to actually like get content out on Twitch about how this game is awesome, and I wear like this high tier gear and people are like, wow, he's got such high tier gear, and then you just die to a fucking Keter, or you get fragmented through your face shield by an SKS of like a scav weapon, or a Mosin lean for that matter. God, don't even get me started on Mosins. Like, that it just kills not only the vibe, but it just makes the game seem like incomplete, inefficient, you know, unbalanced. Which in a sense,
it's gotten to the point that, like, how many times have we gone into a run, and I'm kind of notorious for this, but we go in, everybody's kind of got an expectation of survival. I load in, I'm just like, all right, let's go lose this crap.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like...
Yeah, that's definitely one thing about Tarkov, is you have to go in expecting to lose whatever you're going with. Because eventually, you will.
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter how much money I spend on a specific loadout, like, the most expensive gear I can get, and beginning of the raid, it's, all right, where am I going to lose this? Like, it's not a matter of, you know, I'm definitely going to survive because I have this armor. It's who's going to get the lucky shots.
Fair enough, yeah.
See, I think that's something that should change about Tarkov, because, I mean, they started off the game with the intent to have, like, a, you know, a fairly realistic first-person shooter with, you know, legitimate combat scenarios. And you look at the armor and how it deals with, you know, small caliber bullets, and it's not accurate to what it would be in real life at all. And they have the problem now where if the same bullet hits the armor more than once, it increases the pen chance
per shot. And after that.
Yeah, and I brought this point up to Ethan the other day, saying, say you're doing a labs run fully geared with, you know, Fort, Tactec, and Mosca or something like that, and everyone else that loads into the lab raid that you're versing just so happens to be using armor piercing 545. So, just an example. So
no, armor piercing 308.
But it doesn't really matter.
Just any.
So
anyone.
The first,
okay.
Just anything where they're all using the same guns. So the first guy you fight, you know, you kill him easy because it's a weak gun. The second guy you fight does damage to you because the armor pen chance transfers between players. Then the third fight and the fourth fight, you know, it continues until you die because you know, by the time you get to the fourth or fifth player, they have like a 300% pen chance. Say you do the same kit, and everyone else that spawns in are using different guns. Like, some guy's got an M1A with M80 rounds, another guy's got an AS Vol, another guy's got an MP7. You're more likely to survive against the better guns because of the non-stacking pen chance, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly.
At that point, you're not even leaving stuff up to chance. That's just, you know, the game is now set up that you are definitely going to die to a raider or somebody with a raider gun.
But the thing is, why is it easier for you to die against a group of fucking Ketterlings or Mosinlings than fully geared guys with AS-Vols, M4s, and like AKMs with armor-piercing rounds just because of the impact damage. Like, that makes no sense. The fact of the matter is, if a bullet is going to penetrate a helmet because it's faster, has more force, whatever you want to call it, if it's going to pen your helmet, it's going to pen your helmet. The chance to pen your helmet should not change just because you're shooting more with the same gun. If you're wearing a Class 6 body shield, which means you have AR-500 steel plates on your chest, and somebody shoots you with a 9mm, you're going to feel the force of the bullet hitting the plate, but there will be absolutely zero penetration whatsoever at any range.
It will not even dent the back of
I
Exactly.
agree with that.
But in Tarkov,
and armor,
if you get shot more, if you got shot more though in Tarkov, if you get shot like 5 times then, or like let's say that one guy empties a PM mag, so that's 8 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, and they empty it into your chest. If they empty it into your chest when you're wearing 4, it does nothing, literally nothing to you. But then let's say that two of them have PMs, and they both are using the worst ammo in the game, and they start spraying, it's going to start dealing impact damage to your chest, which makes no sense whatsoever, because you're just shooting same caliber twice as much. You know what I mean? That's why that's extremely unbalanced, which means that if you brought a team of people with armor-piercing M4, everyone was using M4 with armor-piercing rounds, and a suppressor, so your muzzle velocity was, like, maxed, and you went, like, let's say on, I don't know, woods, and you saw a fully geared guy, and one of you started to spray, yeah, he'd start taking damage, it'd pen his armor, probably black his stomach or legs, but if a second guy started to shoot, like your friend joined you in and shooting, he'd die almost instantaneously, because the impact damage would ignore his armor, and immediately start to black his chest, which is an insta-kill. So, like, what's your recourse? You always talk to your squad and, like, bring the same fucking gun in every single time, excuse my language? Or do you bring different guns and then just hope that you kill people together? Alright, anyone else have something to say?
Alright, I think at that
I'm
point...
downloading Metro Exodus right now.
I think...
I'm so excited for this game, dude.
I think if everybody was to go in with the same loadout, at that point you're just trolling. Like, you know exactly what's gonna happen. I think the fact that it stacks across players is absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, impact damage stacking due to multiple bullets, maybe have a timer on it. Like, you know, you take an entire mag to the chest, eventually that's gonna hurt. That may actually do some damage. But just, that should be something you can walk off as long as it doesn't penetrate.
Yeah,
like,
one thing
call
with,
it a
like,
broken
even
rib
the
or
plate
something.
armor, if you take any more than like 5 rounds to the chest, even if you have completely bullet resistance plate armor, it's gonna crack your ribs.
Yeah.
That's metal traveling at very high velocity.
It depends on the round, though. The fact that a Keter and the SKS have the same level of impact damage with one another, it doesn't make any sense. If a 7.62 round hit you in the chest when you have plate armor, I agree, you'd probably bruise your chest, maybe crack a rib, maybe knock you flat. Like, I agree with that. But a 9mm hitting your chest would feel like a fucking, I don't know, like a pebble is hitting you.
No, it definitely hurt. 9mm.
Yeah, a 9mm would hurt, but if you're wearing, you know, if you've seen like real life fort armors or whatever, that and the massive plates that go inside of it, that distributes the, you know, the small impact force across your entire body.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
You're talking about a 9mm round. I'm not sure how much it weighs, but even 5 of those into a level 6 plate out of something like a fort armor or a real life gen armor. I mean, it's not going to feel good, and it might push you back, but it's not going to hurt.
It's not penetrating or dealing any physical damage to you.
I agree with that. I'm just saying,
I've seen
higher end rounds.
What about
should still do
30 of
slight
them in
damage.
2 seconds, though? What's that going to do to your ribcage?
It would hurt,
still,
but
yeah,
no pen.
That would probably hurt, but it's still not going to, you know, deal significant damage to you, your body.
I mean, even though that's spread out and distributed, 30 impacts in a very short amount of time, that's just going to sit there and vibrate that plate to the point that, from my perspective, take an entire mag from a Keter, that could be the same cracked rib as, you know, one shot from an SKS.
But multiple people aren't shooting at you, and it doesn't change the pen chance, because you can spray all day with a Keter into 4 armor. And,
No, the pen chance thing is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm frustrated with. If you're gonna spray someone down with a fucking Keter, like, and the fact that you have to aim for their legs to actually kill them is just kind of outrageous to me as well. But that's the only thing you could really do in that instance.
A real-life 9mm SMG versus a real-life level 6 plate, it would take a ridiculous amount of ammunition to pierce that plate.
Thousands of rounds.
Thousands of rounds.
And even then, like, then you're just getting, like, a tiny fucking hole. There's no legitimate pen where it actually enters your chest cavity. Like, this is why Tarkov is frustrating in that sense, because guns that should not pen.
You know what's also frustrating? E-girls, which is our next topic. So, my whole thing is...
We did talk that into ground quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, e-girls, especially with, like, TikTok. Like, before, like, there's the whole meme about, oh, you're a gamer girl? Like, so we have these gamer girls, but then as soon as TikTok came around, a lot of these more e-girls and Twitch, THOTS, they basically, there's like this big flood of them, and what do you guys think about these e-girls?
Don't know a lot about them, don't really care.
Sam, I know Sam's got a point on this.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
Oh my god, e-girls, Sam,
Sorry, I was
e-girls.
watching a video of 9mm versus plate armor because I was curious.
No, do you think TikTok's gonna die like Vine did, or is it gonna get as popular? Because I think it is already dying. Again.
Vine didn't die; it was shut down.
Yeah.
It the owners just cut it and deleted it.
Yeah, because you had it cost too much money to run it.
Yeah, they weren't making enough money off of ads, which I feel like they'd have to look at it fixed. With some
Which was funny. The funny thing is Pornhub offered to buy it and said 6 seconds. That's all you need.
Shut up, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my opinion on e-girls. Now, I'm assuming that when you say the term e-girls, we're not talking about I play video games and I'm a chick. Like,
No,
blank. You're talking about,
like the
Twitch thoughts.
Yep, the big titty goth GF girls that everyone tries to be now.
Yeah. Just chatting.
It works because a lot of these girls are trying to get attention.
Well, the thing is, if you're live streaming, people go there for either what you're doing or you. And I'm pretty sure that you're not in just chatting to find out about her wonderful personality. Like, let's be honest.
Oh my god, her just dance moves are great. Did you ever... She swallows like mac and cheese. She doesn't like actually chew it. She just swallows it.
Of course she does.
That's fucking disgusting. Holy shit.
There's a quitters, man.
Anyways, oh Jesus Christ. My take on e-girls. My take on e-girls. If you want to play video games and you're a chick, really don't care. Not at all.
It doesn't matter. Honestly, if you play games and if you're a chick or a guy, it does not matter.
If you're gonna live stream to Twitch as well, that's fine. If you're gonna show an immense amount of cleavage and act like an absolute slut on camera, go to Chatterbait.
I think the line with that is, if you're streaming on Twitch, if your webcam screen is bigger than the gameplay,
yes,
then you know you're doing something wrong.
Yep.
Like, if I were to stream on Twitch,
it's like, come watch you play Fortnite.
Like, if I was playing Tarkov, and Tarkov was on my screen, but my webcam, instead of it facing my face, it was like, it would record my lips, my chin, and then, like, a fucking bulge in my pants. Like, nobody would want to watch that.
It.
Okay, goddamn.
Yeah,
okay,
right, nobody would want to watch.
Everyone other than Sam would avoid this stream. But
and I think you're onto something.
but what I'm saying is, like, it's honestly just like a cuck fest is what that.
Well, a concept I heard. If the world was just like entirely nudist, like if it was just not a social norm to wear clothes, do you think people would like ask for like crotch cams or something?
No,
like,
they would no.
gameplay?
Okay, if
It's like, oh, he got
hold on.
excited at that
I
moment.
was talking about this with some other people. If the entire world was a nudist colony, we would desexualize a breast. So a lot of these, we would desexualize a lot of things that we now like deem or are sexualized now, like feet or women's legs or boobs. You know, like a lot of these things would
don't
be
know.
desexualized. Like, okay, when you're watching,
I feel like some of it would, but the thing is, we're genetically hardwired to be attracted to that because, like, birthing hips
Yep.
because they give birth better, and then large breasts because they can support their children better because
But
you know.
but here's the thing though, like there are like these native nudist colonies, and when you're watching like a documentary on these, you like 10 to 15 minutes into it, you don't even realize oh shit they're naked. Like it doesn't. You're not like oh my god. The entire video you're just like oh my god look at all these boobs. You know it throughout like the longer you see it, you desexualize it.
I think
Sam's just saying that he's
Documentaries have
horny
you
all
been
the
watching
time.
about nudist colonies, Matt?
fair enough.
That's what I was doing. I was like, no, what are you watching?
Okay, whatever.
But
I think Sam just
I
admitted
think
that he's horny all the time.
I think Matt's onto something though, because
Matt,
you
I'm
Matt does
not the
make
one
it
watching.
you
videos
take
about
you
nudist
take
colonies all
something
day.
that's not inherently sexualized and you completely use something like a streaming platform to gain like followers about it or using it. Like that's just ridiculous to me. You're basically just soliciting money from people online for, you know, doing something that you probably shouldn't do over the internet of all things.
Well,
It's
I'm gonna throw out a perspective from being I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest in the group.
yes.
No,
probably-
I'm 86 actually.
Heh,
Second
funny, that's the
oldest.
year I was born.
Oh really?
Damn.
Old fart.
Okay,
But-
Gunnar, go ahead.
Go
So
have some kids.
I have 3.
That's awkward.
So Twitch,
Do you have
YouTube.
any cute 16-year-old daughters?
Okay.
Yeah,
My
he
daughter's
actually does.
16. Leave her out of this. But
Got it. We need to have a talk
that
later.
the whole thing is aimed towards mid to late teen. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of remember my mid to late teens, and I remember my primary focus definitely wasn't school.
Fair enough.
Big facts.
Yeah, it was
So-
reading books.
Matt,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
there
Sure,
are
sure.
important additions to
And
the podcast, and there are
And
things
just
you probably
like-
shouldn't say.
just like with companies catering towards casual, you have to know your market. So if you know that 90% of your stream base is going to be, 15-year-old guys, what else are you going to do? Play with Legos?
I'll play with her.
You know what? I
Okay.
kind of
I
like
mean,
that argument. He's got a point.
But at the same time, that kind of
I'm not arguing that it's a stupid business decision to make money. It's genius because teenage boys are horny.
Yeah, no, here's the thing, but shouldn't we try to, like, stray away from that? Like, imagine if a lot of streamers desexualized a lot of what they were doing, like a lot of girl streamers, a lot of, let's say, because there's a guy streamer named Canute, super jacked. Like, if we try to desexualize a lot of things, do you think later on, in a couple of years, we could move away from all this, quote-unquote, sexual content on Twitch?
No.
No, not at all. And my reasoning behind it is because in the same kind of marketing field, look at cigarettes. 10 to 15 years ago,
Oh, that's
all cigarette ads were targeted towards, the 18-year range.
And
Even if
cigarette
it was
ads now are
illegal.
like, don't
Right.
smoke.
Yeah, and then the government's like, hey, maybe we should stop letting these cigarette companies promote to young kids because there's tons of young kids smoking. So they strayed away from that. But you still see a huge market of young people who smoke.
Here's the thing with that, though. Now, a lot of young people smoke, but that's also because of juuling. A lot of young kids who start to juul, they go into smoking cigarettes.
Right, but it's
feel
the
like
same market.
Well, I'm saying for a while, there was
Speak of
definitely a decrease in young people starting to smoke because there was laws banning it. and like stuff like that. And a lot of these like cigarette commercials are like, this will kill you and stuff like that. And but the big reason people still smoke is because it's an addictive drug. It's nicotine. That's why a lot of people, they're like, it's hard for them to stop, so they keep buying them.
Okay, so 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever they started doing the truth commercials,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
all the negative
Yeah.
sides of smoking,
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I was like 6 at that time.
I was
Oh.
19, 20 at that time. 90% of the time when I saw those commercials, I'd be sitting at a buddy's house, be watching Adult Swim or whatever. Those commercials would come on, the very first thing we did, grab a cigarette.
Yeah, I feel like.
Is that doing? But are you doing that to like mock it, like to meme it? You're like, dude, I'm not gonna listen to these fucking.
the thing is,
authority-
It kind of was.
The way-
it was
the way
like, fuck this
teenagers
commercial,
think,
it's taking up my
literally-
time.
The thing is, authority. If authority tells you to do something as a teenager, every
You're gonna
teenager
rebel.
is rebellious.
Exactly.
Well, yeah,
They
like-
literally just because you told them not to do it, they're gonna.
Not even teenagers. Like if I tell you don't wiggle your left big toe, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna like.
Oh, look what I
almost-
just did. I
Yeah,
wiggled
you
Holy
just
crap.
wiggled it. Yeah, dude. Psychology, your ass. Yeah, but it doesn't even start with teenagers. It's everyone. You tell them not to do something. Kids, same thing. Hey, don't eat the cookie, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is taboo. I must eat the cookie now."
Don't
like,
start the
oh,
cocaine.
Yeah, and then you snort cocaine. Like all these things people do.
And then
The immediate jump,
Parents,
yeah,
man.
right there. That's how it goes.
no cookies. Eat the cookie. No.
I always thought there was like a
cocaine.
middle ground. I didn't know it was cookies, cocaine.
No,
No, if
know-
if you eat cookies, you do cookies.
I think the middle ground is, damn, don't spend all your money on computer parts.
Buys
$4,000
computer
later.
Sam, yes, Sam.
I did the-
spends
I did the
his
math, by
entire
the way.
year's salary on
I,
computer
I
parts.
spent over $4,000 so far. on computer
So,
stuff.
talking about just finishing up Eagles, rather, if you want to, cater to a specific audience online, then absolutely go ahead, because the people who don't like that category and are conscious about it can completely avoid it if they want. The only issues that I have is that if you get banned or if you get in trouble for doing what you're doing and just complaining about it, and then you actually try to rebel against the platform that you're at, well, you already knew that what you were doing was breaking specific either TOS or rules or whatever it was, and you shouldn't have been doing it,
It's
but
in
you
the
decided
TOS.
you decided to do it
Yeah.
anyway. So I guess they can keep catering to their audiences, really don't care, but if they get
Yeah.
targeted or banned and they make a big fucking deal out of it, I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
you should have
Yeah,
listened
I
to
just
TOS.
don't think Twitch is the place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
They
thought
very
process
explicitly
too. Like,
say, and then they get mad when Twitch is like, "Hey, this is against our rules."
Yeah. All right.
But I
well,
think at its core, it doesn't really matter what they show, what they do. Like, you could take Jessica Negri, you could put her in a burqa against a black background where all you could see was her eyes. Somebody out there is going to be like, holy crap, look at those eyes.
I mean, if she's got cute eyes,
She does.
who? Your daughter?
Oh my god.
oh jeez, Sam.
all
Okay.
right, moving on to the next.
I guess we'll circle into like our current generation. My big question is, are we in or are we moving to a generation that's more sensitive as well as entitled? Because I know a lot of the sophomores at our school, especially when they came in, super entitled, and I can just tell through
The way they
just
speak,
out
the way
in
they
life,
act.
everyone's very sensitive.
I think there was like the millennial generation, and then a little bit residual after that were very sensitive. But a lot of Gen Z kids literally make fun of people because it's fun, and they know that people, especially people like 10 years older than, get offended really easily. And so the entire, I feel like the millennial was a generation that was very sensitive and very quote unquote progressive.
Yeah.
It was just,
I
getting
think we're
offended by
finally
everything.
starting to circle.
I think
away
Gen
from
Z is a
sensitivity.
very different generation that is basically understands, hey, it's a joke. Calm down.
Yeah, that expect yeah. But do you think like the younger generation, the I'll call them the Fortnite baby generation, do you think like these kids are gonna grow up to be more entitled and more sensitive?
I think entitled, potentially sensitive, no.
How so?
Now, what do you think we could?
By the way,
no, no, no,
Fortnite is
ex-
still
that?
Gen Z.
Explain your answer, Sam.
There's like, one sec. There's
And-
two halves to Gen Z. Basically, there's the kids that grew up playing Minecraft Gen Z, and then
Hell
there's the
yeah.
kids that grew up playing Fortnite Gen Z, and that's both Gen Z. It's just kind of like, one's the beginning of Gen Z, one's the
Yeah.
Now compare and contrast them. Because Minecraft creativity, it's multiplayer
Oh, yeah.
creativity. You
Well,
play with your
yeah.
friends, actually.
But here's
And then Fortnite, the ability. Well, at the same time, when you began to play Fortnite,
it's
the
also
implementation
Battle Royale
of
and you-
Battle Royale, and where you basically just kill everyone else and try to be the leader, which is already inherently competitive. But then you add in the ability to talk to your opponents.
Well,
You
here's the
also gotta
thing,
remember
though.
that Minecraft had Hunger Games, like since the beginning.
Okay.
Of
But to play
Uh,
Minecraft, you didn't have to play that. Fortnite's whole spiel is that you'd play
That's
for the
true,
Battle
but it
Royale.
was also a very, very popular.
Here's the thing
segment of
with Minecraft. During the kids that played Minecraft, those kids played MW2, and as I remember, the Xbox and PS3 game lobbies of MW2, MW3,
Toxic.
early Call of Duty, super toxic. And growing up through that, definitely, that's what Sam was talking about before. That beginning part of Gen Z when it started, which some of us are part of, we know we can take it as a joke, and then now we're into like the whole Fortnite, and when you kill someone, you can do the L, da, 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 da. Like it's so dumb. I feel like imagine people now, like take a lot of these like the newer generation, right? And then or millennials, right? Some of these and put them into a old-fashioned, old-school MW2 lobby and see what happens. They would get so triggered.
They'd be upset.
Gay.
The thing is, I kind of like what Monokeen is saying. A little blunt for me, but yeah. He's just saying everyone's a pussy, especially Twitch, but no one was a pussy. Modern Warfare 2 shaped my life. So, like, I mean, what you could do was just kind of take the game and the community for what it is. Like, I'm fairly certain that anybody who plays any older version of Modern Warfare 2 or did play Modern Warfare 2 when it was at its peak, if they were to like me, if I were to revisit like the CS:GO lobby or like a CS:GO game, like yeah, it's toxic, but it wasn't, one-man army noob tubing and flying in the air with an automatic grenade launcher. Cheating and toxicity are always going to be a part of video games because anybody who ever plays video games wants to have an unfair advantage. That's just how it is. Okay, that's going to keep being like that. The only question is like, do you just get super sensitive and overreact to it, or do you just realize that that's going to be a part of it and you just deal with it? And
well, that's a lot of these original or the beginning of the Gen Z kids. They'd be like, "Oh, it's just a joke, and we'll move on." But a lot of they're freaking out. And what I'm gonna segue a little bit is I did these kind of older millennials and baby boomers that don't understand current generation stuff. How they're is ruining my kid's brain,
Especially humor.
or
And the current humor.
oh, you back.
sorry about that. Go ahead.
They don't understand. Like, remember when Mark Zuckerberg was before Congress? They had no idea what they were talking about when regarding the internet or Facebook at all. They just don't have any idea. And that like news outlets. A lot of these newscasters don't know what is the actual jokes, what's trending, what are like the actual jokes and stuff like that. Which
Can we talk about another huge problem?
yeah, go ahead.
Like 9-year-old kids letting their parents letting them play rated R or rated M games. Like, okay, you wouldn't take your 9-year-old son and go rent him a rated R movie for obvious reasons, but you're gonna go buy him GTA 5. Like,
When do you think
the games have ratings for a reason.
Yeah, but when do you say? I'm guessing when you were younger, you also played rated M games. But when do you think is a good age limit for kids to start playing rated M games?
I actually didn't play a lot of rated M games until definitely after it's really up to the parent. But I think the line is, okay, if your parents are gonna let you watch rated R movies, then you can play rated M games. It's up to the parent, but the parent needs to be aware and
Conscious
informed
about
And
the
they
what
also-
decision.
rating means.
Yeah.
But they also have to be very aware of what their kid is doing after that. So let's say like your kid watches a rated R movie, and in that movie somebody does this unspeakable act, right? And this kid thinks it's okay. You have to sit down with your kid and talk about like, hey, you know, like you have to talk with your kid about this stuff in order so he doesn't.
No, that's the problem. If you need to sit them down after a rated R movie and explain to them why that's not okay, they should not be watching the movie.
Well, that's what Sam was talking about before.
It's a very clear line. If you have to sit with your kid and explain to them, by the way, killing someone, decapitating them, and then sending the head to their, in-laws is not a proper thing to do. Then
well, I'm saying like a 9-year-old will understand that, but if someone younger tries to like,
yeah, no.
I think I think
that
it
all kinda
begins with a
ties-
strong parenting basis. The parents should teach their kids morals way before they even have to worry about them watching.
Yes,
rated R movies.
exactly.
I
Because it
agree.
all begins with good parenting and not just, oh, you need to explain to them why something's not good. Unless it's a very obscure, like a slur or something that the kid wouldn't understand. You need to explain to them what that means and why it's a bad thing and why they should not say it. Because if you heard a slur that you've never heard before, and you saw some guy that you were like looking up to, like some action hero movie, you would just, oh, that's a cool word, I'll use that. But
yeah,
if you used it at school or in class or anything,
you get in trouble.
you'd get a call from your parent, or the parents would get a call, hey, which is why, like, if there's a slur or a bad word that the kid potentially has not heard before, you need to sit them down and say, hey, this is what that means. You should never say this in any situation. Just so that the kid knows. But I think they should be morally aware enough before they watch anything too heavy that they don't have to worry about teaching them right from wrong.
Well, speaking of, we'll just roll right into the next topic with this of just like with movies. Basically, right now we're kind of in what I call a dead zone of movies where nothing really good comes out from like January until you get to mid-March, and that's when these movies start.
Which is interesting because last year Black Panther released in January, which is
it
usually is a dead zone, but.
But here's the thing: do you think if a company like Marvel or any other company basically released a movie in like January, February, or like early March, do you think they would get more revenue because a lot of other movies don't like good movies play during that
Well,
time?
it's a complicated thing because January is tax season, and that's why like the adpocalypse happens every January.
Oh, it's terrible.
YouTube channels ads drop because businesses, like advertising businesses, they tighten their belts to get like through the year, and then at the end of the year, right,
they release it all during December.
They release all their extra money for advertising, which is why YouTube creators and stuff get more money. And the same thing's true with other companies that need to spend money and get advertising and other stuff. They just have less product to.
So what other or like what upcoming movies are we looking to see besides Endgame? Because that's an obvious. I'm definitely going to that. I already asked off for that day for work. That's definitely going to that.
Captain Marvel, I'll probably go see. I'm kind of skeptic of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm because it's very hard because we grew up with Captain America, Iron Man. We grew up with, and now we're changing the whole, like these Avengers. I don't know.
Battle Angel.
I don't know.
Did you know
Captain
that's
Marvel
actually
as a
based
character
off-
doesn't seem very
Alita,
intriguing to me.
right?
Did you know Alita Battle Angel is based off an anime?
I could assume that with the eyes during the trailer. Yep.
Big hype. John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
Oh, when is that coming out?
Sometime in 2019. Probably late 2019.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
add that to the
it's-
list of movies we
May
all need
May
to go see.
17th, 2019.
So add that to the list.
Holy crap! That's right
We all need to go
before.
see together.
That's right before my birthday. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about that. So what's the storyline on John Wick 3? What'd they do to piss him off this time? Smash his mailbox?
No,
No,
he's
remember at
trying
the
to
end
run
of the
away.
second one?
Wait, hang on. We don't want to put any spoilers there.
Oh yeah,
Here,
we don't want to
Yeah, here. I'll read the description. Legendary hitman John Wick must fight his way out of New York when a $14 million contract on his life makes him the target of the world's top assassin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So if you've seen 2, at the end of 2, that means big old bounty gets put on him, and now he's trying to escape.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be the last John Wick movie then too.
I think if they go any further than John Wick 3,
It's gonna be bad.
they're just at that point they're just pulling
Milking.
too much from Fast and the Furious.
They're just milking it, really.
Or just too much of just John Wick, the persona, and Keanu Reeves.
And
I
mean,
love Keanu Reeves. He's such a good actor.
Speaking of milking, how do you guys feel about the remakes of all these other movies? You look at Dumbo's being
ones?
remade, Pet Sematary being
all the
remade,
live action ones.
Aladdin's being remade.
Oh, I
They-
don't like the
honestly-
Aladdin one. That one.
I
really...
don't think the live action is nearly as good as the original cartoon for Disney movies.
Yep.
I feel like
I'd have to fully agree.
some
you take
movies can be
Disney
good
out of it,
remade.
if you take Disney out of it, I fully support the remakes. Like Pet Cemetery, I would love to see what they do with technology now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like some
That
remakes
movie scared
need to
the
be remade
shit
just
out of me as a
because the CGI is so much better now
Yeah.
that it's worth remaking them just to get the visuals to where you want them. Especially like if Stephen King was probably not super satisfied with the way that it came out because just the technology wasn't available to make it as good
Yep.
as he wanted it to look. So now they're remaking it to make it look on par with what he wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Although that being said, the remake of Halloween, like, yeah, Rob Zombie, he's got some ideas, but that whole series had already been running around. Like, there was no point in starting that.
Yeah. No, I feel like it all depends on the movies and the series. I honestly I was super excited when they brought back for another movie, Incredibles, like the Incredibles
Yeah.
2. That
I
made
think-
me happy. Also, how they're doing the last Toy Story 4. When they were filming it, the voices, Tom Hanks literally cried at the last couple words said. So
I think the way
did you see the
There's
trailer for
no-
it though?
there's no problem with remaking movies, but the problem is Disney right now, they're not making any new movies. They're literally just remaking them.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
They need to. It's okay to sprinkle in remakes along with actual releases, but they're literally just doing remakes right now in Star Wars. But that's a
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah, we're kind of losing creativity on a lot of stuff.
Don't want to
I'm
be that
excited
guy, but
for more classical movies.
the older Disney movies, which are the better of the Disney movies,
Yeah.
are no longer accessible through normal means. Like if
That's
you
true. You need to own it.
you
basically,
actually
and have a
exactly
Blu-ray player. Or
there
something like
you
that.
don't go to the movie theater to see them anymore. Like, okay, congratulations, you went to see Christopher Robin, a live action remake of Winnie the Pooh. Like, well done. You got Winnie the Pooh out of the way. Have you tried any of these other iconic Disney movies? Like,
Oh, what
like
if,
I
just
bet,
imagine-
like if you mentioned to someone, "Hey, how'd you like 101 Dalmatians?" They would look at you like, "What? I thought, isn't that a dog?" Like, oh my god, hello. But if you were to mention to them, like, "Do you like, I don't know, like what's a recent Disney movie that was pretty shit?"
Frozen.
Oh my god, Frozen. How'd you like Frozen? Oh my god, it's the best.
No, what if Disney? Okay, so hear me out. What if Disney, right? Went to all these movie theaters and said, "Hey, for a week, every day, or like half this afternoon, we're gonna play this Disney movie, and then tickets will also be half price." You know what I mean? So then we re-show like some of these like original Disney movies.
I don't think that's necessary though,
I
especially
think
because
it'd be
Disney's.
cool. I think it'd be very
some theaters
nostalgic
do
for a lot of
that. They
people.
replay old movies.
But the thing, Disney's already coming out with their own streaming service, which should release this year, I think, to compete with
They're
like
doing a
Netflix and
streaming
Amazon Prime.
service.
Yep, like
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, and it's gonna have every Disney movie ever made, as well as all the TV shows.
Do you think they're gonna start making like newer stuff? Because Netflix does their own Netflix originals. Do you think Disney's actually gonna start making more stuff, or are they just gonna keep remaking?
Since
I
they
don't
bought
know.
out Marvel,
Well, yeah, they've been making movies because there's a new Star Wars that they own that comes out every year. Marvel comes out, what, 3
Yeah.
times a year? They have a new movie.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's not like
But
they're
a
not
little-
making
a little bit-
but the actual like true core Disney,
Yeah.
what they
true
started
thing.
on, they're just remaking, and I don't think they
Plan on
have
doing
enough
anything
good
more.
writers that work for Disney at Disney, as opposed to working for Disney through Marvel and whatever.
But that's
I
also
don't think
why
they have
they're
enough good
currently
writers.
pulling everything from every other streaming service. Like, since they own Marvel,
Yeah.
that's the reason they canceled Iron Fist, Jessica Jones.
Yeah, those are all gonna be coming back on their streaming. So.
And hopefully they're good, because I was so disappointed with Iron Fist. I think Luke Cage season 1 was really good.
I agree.
Oh, but the only thing that they did great was the Punisher. Oh my god, that
Yes.
was so good to watch.
Love the Punisher.
Yeah, that was really well done, and that's because a good actor, not saying the other actors weren't good, but played the Punisher as the Punisher should be played.
See, I honestly really liked Iron Fist, and it may have been because I liked the character himself. Like,
Well, I like
the acting could have been better, the storyline could have been better, but still, it was the freaking Iron Fist.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I semi liked it, but at the same time, I expected a lot more than what I got.
Like, the movie was shit, the actors were shit, the storyline was shit, but they came out with it nonetheless. That makes it a good movie.
Yeah.
The fact that you say, you know, like, it could be better, the sheer amount of resources that the companies have, you'd think they'd produce something that's up to par
Yeah.
with what the viewers want to see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just kind of drawn to it because it was such an obscure character. Like, if you didn't know Nova Corps, if you didn't know, like, old Spider-Man lore.
No, a lot of it was cool because I learned more about Iron Fist than I previously knew before. But I feel like they like Aaron said, they have a lot of resources and they could have done a better job with it. All right, well, I think we've talked a lot about these topics. I think we'll start wrapping up. I guess I'd like to thank anyone that tuned into the stream. It's been fun. Stay tuned for next week. Hopefully, because we've been talking about just the schedule of this podcast. We'll try to get it out every week. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you all for
All right.
watching. And I appreciate everyone who tuned in. And thank you to my co-hosts, Good Guy Naruto or Matt, as well
Thank
as
you.
Mr. Nearly Dix or Gutter, Aaron or Shogun, and Sam or Tenadisic for participating in this podcast. Hopefully we'll try to stay on that schedule of like one a week. All notifications will be about schedule changes and updates will be in both my Discord, and we'll try to start using Twitter more. You can find both of those links at the bottom of the stream. Otherwise than that, I will see you all at the next podcast or stream. Thank you all.
Yep. Bye.